Hey there, ladies and gentlemen, the food experience is back. And today's experience, I'm going to try making some Indian fry bread in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer. And then, once it's finished, I'm going to go ahead and turn it into some Navajo tacos and also make a dessert item out of it. And in case you're not familiar with Indian fry bread, it more or less originated with the Navajo Indian tribe somewhere in Arizona. We gave the Indians rough ride, we kicked them off their land and made them live on a reservation. And then our government passed them down some basic essentials like flour, lard, and also salt. So they had to make do with what they had to work with. And even though this is not going to be the authentic way, I'm going to recreate it as best I can. I went to a boarding school a long time ago in Tucson, Arizona, and they took us to the Pima County Fair, and that's where I first learned about this delicious fry bread. So I'm going to see how it comes out in the Max. I'm sure it's not as good as it would be as if you pan fried it in oil, but it's going to be the best I can in what I have to work with. And I love using the Max, so let's go ahead and get down to it. First thing we're going to do is combine the dry ingredients. I'm going to use a scale. Going to turn it on, put a bowl on it, and zero it out. And I like measuring flour this way as opposed to by the cup. It's a lot more accurate. And we're going to go for 390 grams, which should be around 3 cups. There we go. I got a little bit extra. Go ahead and remove some. I mean, it really doesn't need to be precise, to be honest. There we go. It's actually 389 point something when I looked it up. So let's go ahead and add it to the mixing bowl. Now we're going to add 3 teaspoons of baking powder. 1, 2, and 3. And lastly, a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to go ahead and whisk the ingredients together a little bit. Make them kind of well combined. Then I'm going to use a tablespoon of vegetable shortening. Next thing you want to do is knead everything in together with the shortening. Make sure everything's well combined, that the shortening is well mixed in with the other dry ingredients. Next, I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup of warm water. Make sure the water is warm. This was 105 degrees. And then you just want to knead everything in together till it turns like a nice sticky dough. You may have to add some more water depending. And you want to knead this for at least like 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to add a little bit more water. Just a little bit at a time. You don't want to make it too moist. But you shouldn't have a lot of flour left either. Add a little more. Yeah, that looks just about right there. It should be tacky, but not sticky where it like sticks all over you. That looks pretty darn good. Now that we got the dough ready, what you want to do is let it rest and sit for at least an hour. And I'm going to do that in the Kalorik Maxx because you want it to be in a nice warm place but not hot. So I'm going to use the proof mode on the Max. First, I'm going to insert the wire rack in the very lowest position for proofing. Normally you would want to put a towel on top of this. I don't have any small towels, so I'm just going to use some plastic wrap. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. Close the door, set it for oven, go over to proof. It's normally 100 degrees. I'm going to leave it there and hit the start stop, and I got it for 1 hour, and we'll check back after that's done. All right, so the proofing time is done. I actually added some more minutes and let it go longer. Meanwhile, on the side, I'm preparing some taco meat, some ground beef, and also I'm going to be heating up some refried beans. I also cut up some lettuce, chopped some onions. The dough doesn't really rise because there's no yeast in it or anything, but it has increased in size, just a tad bit. Next thing, I'm going to take a small knob of butter and get it melted in the microwave. All right, butter's nice and melted. Now what I'm going to do is just baste a little bit on the dough here. I'm going from two different recipes that I saw online on how to do this. So I'm kind of using a combination technique of both. But I like the idea of the butter. It sounds nice. I love butter. Can't hurt. Okay. Gonna work the butter in there a little bit. All right. That should be good. But yeah, it's like a little bit tacky, but it's definitely not sticky. Next thing I'm going to do is lay out a little bit of flour. I have a pastry mat below me. And let me go ahead and take you down. What you want to do with the dough is take off like a golf ball size piece at a time. That ought to do it. Get into like a ball. And then go ahead and kind of press it out till it's kind of like a circle shape. Best as you can. Not really good at those things, but see what happens. If I was good at those things, I'd be making my own pizza by now, right? You could also use a rolling pin to roll it out a little bit. I got a 1/16 inch spacer. And you want to kind of try to keep it round as possible. That looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm content with that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Next, we're going to go ahead and turn on air fry mode on the Max, leave it in air fry, and set it for 360 degrees. And let it do a complete preheat so that the air fry light turns solid and it's no longer flashing. Next, I'm going to put a little extra virgin olive oil into a bowl. And instead of taking you down, I'm just going to do this down below. I'm going to brush each of those with a little bit of olive oil. So I'm going to go ahead and put the oiled side down in the basket. Oh, and it looks like the preheat time is done. And then I'm going to go ahead and brush the top lightly with some olive oil. Now I'm going to insert the air fryer basket in the regular air frying position and let it go for about 4 minutes. In fact, you could press the dial, the selector dial, and change the time. We'll set it on 4 and let it go. Next, while that's going, I'm going to go ahead and heat up the refried beans in the microwave. I just don't have enough stovetops here. I'm working with a super small limited space kitchen. Alright, 4 minutes are up. It looks like it could go a little bit longer from the top, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it in there. 360, and I'll set it for 2 minutes. Why not? See how that does it. Meanwhile, the beans are done. Give them a nice stir. Definitely feels nice and hot. I got a train going by. It's one of those lucky times. Choo choo. There it goes. On a board, I have my chopped up onions and lettuce. It's almost eating time. Let's go ahead and take a look at them now. Yeah, it's starting to brown a little bit, but I'm really not happy with it. So let's go ahead and put it back in. And try 3 more minutes at 360. I'm even going to increase it. I'm going to go with 370. Like I said, this is the first time I have tried this, so it's a little bit of trial and error. And we'll just see what happens. And then maybe I'll come back and do it all over again another day. Alright, another few minutes has passed. And that's looking a little better. I don't know if you could see it, but at least this one here, it's got some nice golden color to it. Now what we got to do is go ahead and flip them over. Let's go ahead and put them back in. And this time, air fry I'll do it for like 5 minutes, and I'm going to go to 400 this time. Really not convinced that the lower temperature is going to help, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's just some trial and error right now. So I have the other two set aside here. What I'm trying to do is to make 2 Navajo style tacos and then use these 2 for dessert type of fry bread. It looks like increasing the temperature did help. Let's go ahead and check out the fry bread. So yeah, it's a lot more golden brown on top. Went ahead and put one of them on a plate. Let's give this a little try if I could. Nice and crunchy. That's for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to put a little bit of a layer of refried beans. And I've heard of people using regular beans. You don't have to use refried. It's really whatever you want to do. And I'm going to go ahead and put a decent amount of meat on there. And the meat's been seasoned with taco type seasonings. So there we go. We got refried beans. We got meat. Gonna go ahead and add some lettuce. And then some onions. Lastly, we're gonna go ahead and top it off with some cheese. And there we go. All right, let's go ahead and give it a try. Not bad. Not bad at all. And I think I will add some more hot sauce on the top. What I want to do is get one going for the dessert. So I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil on top. Go ahead and put it in. It is a little bit more dense than I wanted it, but like I said, if I would have rolled it out thinner, I think it would have been perfect. A little bit crispy around the ends. I'm really starting to think 400 is more the magic number, so while it's still going, I'm just going to increase it to 400 and let it go for another couple minutes. Yeah, it looks like it's starting to kind of get done, so I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. And I never did brush the other side with oil, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, let's go ahead and put it back in. Okay, this one's looking like it's done. Definitely a lot faster. Go ahead and remove it. So this one's a little bit more golden brown. But what we're going to do with this one is I got some cinnamon sugar. Put a decent amount of that on there. And then we're going to dust it with some powdered sugar with my little wand right here. That should be good. Oh yeah. All right, let's give this one a try. Crunchy. And this one I do think I made a little bit thinner than the original ones. Oh, that's tasty. The cinnamon, the sugar. All right, so we're going to wrap it up. I think it was a very fun experience trying to recreate Indian fry bread in the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven. Made a Navajo taco, made some dessert. All in all, pretty good. Next time, I'm definitely going to try to roll out the dough thinner because I noticed with this last one, it had a little bit more crispy crunch to it than the first two did. So I think a little bit thinner would be nice. But yeah, I'll come back and do it again, maybe a couple months from now. Hard to say because I got a lot of other stuff lined up. That being said, if you have any ideas or you think I should revamp this in a different way, let me know in the comments down below. If you have any other suggestions about what you'd like to see me do in the future, no seafood please, also let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I got a lot of good stuff coming up with the Maxx, with snacks, with eating out, reviewing restaurants, all different things. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video with making Indian fry bread and Navajo tacos with the help of the Kalorik Maxx air fryer oven. And with that said, I'm going to wish you all a very stellar day. Be excellent. And most of all, remember me. I'm KJ Andy O, your food experience host with the most. Y'all take care, and I'll see you next time. Laters.